Hello everyone, I all hope you have very much quite have a wonderful day and also quite have a very much quite have a wonderful day and also quite have a blessed day. As you can see guys, today's sky is quietly still beautiful and also quietly still sunny and warm as well, which it has been for the past few days as well. Well, despite that, guys, I'm very quietly grateful for your guys' support and for all of you guys who are literally staying with me on my journey. It means completely a lot to me, and especially from those of you from shorts and long videos in YouTube and from TikTok, and from those of you in TikTok who are quietly following me. I'm so superly grateful for your guys' support, and from all of you from shorts and from YouTube as well. Completely means the entire universe. Completely means the entire universe to me as well. May you have a blessed day and a very much quality of a great week, and stay happy and stay true to yourselves, guys, and always have positive thoughts, always have positive thoughts, and always have great positive thoughts, and stay hopeful and keep pushing no matter what. Oh, one more thing, guys, the gardening people are here, so you might actually receiving more loud noises in the background as well. And my daughter Universe is quietly inside the house with me, just to actually inform me as well. But despite that, guys, oh, one more thing, I'll be able to actually on tomorrow's video, on tomorrow's episode, I'll be able to upload it on Monday. So tomorrow's episode on Friday, I'll be able to actually upload it on Monday. For those of you who are quietly watching the long videos in YouTube, but for those of you who are quietly watching shorts and TikTok, you'll receive it on shorts and TikTok as well. With that being said, let's begin. On today's episode, we should speak about the dragon race, which are the dragons, which are the mighty dragons of the sacred world, or the dragons of the sacred universe as well, which they have able to have lived with throughout sacred history for many centuries and for many millennia and for many million years ago and for thousands of centuries as well. They are very ancient and they're very powerful. The dragons of the sacred world are very supernatural creatures who have the great power and the abilities of transformation to transform themselves into normal human beings or into supernatural beings, like to becoming a physical person. They can actually go into a physical form, like this, just like me. They can actually transform themselves into a physical form, as only with the special dragons can actually only with the special dragons can actually receive the most powerful gift and ability of transformation back into a normal physical form. Others will actually take them years or centuries or many millennia for them to actually transform themselves into physical form as well. But despite that, the dragon race is very powerful and very ancient and very dangerous as well. It is rumored to actually know that the dragons possess a magical burning fire that has the ability and the gift to burning everything within its sole purpose of its greater clock's proximity. Due to this, most ancient powerful forces of evil within the sacred world would use the dragon race of the species to launch many wars and conflicts and battle in order to annihilate the opposing threat that stands in their way of their sole goal and of their sole mission, such as ancient threats like the Fallen, the unknown Dark Formation Hunters, powerful supervillains, powerful greater supervillains such as Mount Man, such as the great Mount Man, such as the great Mount Man, and other powerful sinister threats as well, who are also able to control and use these dragons as one of their own animals, or either use them as one of their own mount. And they can actually and the dragons can actually find their long time companion as well, which these ancient forces of evil and the forces of good can actually have one of these dragons as their own great long time companion as well. Despite that, it makes them very powerful, and they earn the legendary name. They get to earn the legendary dragon name as becoming one of the most powerful dragonary ancient slayers or dragon keepers or dragon riders as well, which are known to be one of the most dangerous and one of the most benevolent forces throughout the entire sacred universe. Within dragon history, the dragon race possesses an ancient mythical oath known as the fire of light, which the fire of light oath is exactly a very ancient oath that has been passed down for generations throughout the entire dragon race's species, which their progenitor and the founder, the great progenitor and the actual founder of the dragon, the great progenitor and the actual sacred dragon founder, who was the first of his people, was able to access the power of transformation in order to transform himself to a dragon, was able to create a powerful sacred oath among his ancient species and among his greater ancient descendants, which the oath itself became very, very rare to those of the dragons who can transform and to those of the dragons who can't actually transform as well. Due to this, the dragon race became very, very highly ancient and very, very highly powerful because they were used in wars, conflicts, magical wars and conflicts as such as weapons, which they began despising themselves being used as greater weapons began exactly despising themselves to be used as greater weapons and as weapons of mass destruction in order to helping the deadliest ancient forces of evil to wreaking havoc on a larger scale within the entire sacred world's wars and conflicts in the process as well. Regardless of this, the entire dragon race exactly knew that they were about to be used for unknown evil purposes, but some of the other species agreed to those purposes while the others defected from those purposes as well. So let's begin. Within the great millennia century, during the ancient Omega Wars, before clans and sacred nations and magical kingdoms were ever founded and created and born, the great mythical dragons were quietly locked in combat with the ancient Omega founders, where the ancient Omega sacred founders used their great Omega infinite powers and ability to decimate and creating nothing but total destruction to the destructive worlds and planets and civilization in the process. Regardless of that, the dragon races exactly knew that the sacred Omega founders would become nothing but a force of darkness, of utter darkness, and the great forces of utter destruction, which it was quietly occurring to them they must be precisely to be destroyed, effective and immediately, meaning in other words, right away. The dragon race quietly banded together with the other ancient children of prophecy known as the Children of Destiny in order to fight up against the opposing threat, which was known as the ancient threat of all ancient threats. They fought up against the Omega founders, and the Omega founders disappeared within a great ancient battle prophesied by the ancient unknown forces, which they were quietly forced to live. After the great ancient Omega founders quietly left from the battle, the Children of Destiny exactly reassured the dragon races that they will provide them with ancient temples, worlds, planets, and civilization where they can flourish on their own and where they can live in peace without being used as weapons or without being plunged into the sacred wars' conflicts and without being plunged within the sacred wars' conflicts and any other such things. The leader of the dragon races was very, 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 very highly honorable to know that the Children of Destiny were very, very quietly good to honoring the peace of the truce and the peace of the ancient pact that they made with them many, many centuries ago with their former ancestors. To that point, the Children of Destiny created many ancient monuments of the great dragons, such as the great high temples of the great dragon races, and in many worlds and in many civilizations and many ancient forests where the ancient temples buildings would actually house the dragons races in order for them to transform and in order for them to actually highly evolve. Over centuries, the dragon races became highly good and became highly adaptable with their powers and with the abilities of super speed, using their powers of fire and their powers of transformation, which some of them actually granting the power to transform into physical form, while the others exactly granted the power not to actually transform into physical form as well. During which at that time they were able to literally live within, they were able to actually physically live within the supernatural residence of the great sacred villages where vampires, werewolves, fairies, witches, druids were all living together in harmony as well, where they all exactly discovered they can actually all use their founding powers and their abilities to creating new enhanced techniques and greater powers as well in the process. On the Age of Darkness, which was actually in the ancient century, on the great 13th century, the ancient dark formation hunter known as the Fallen began acquiring a powerful supernatural dragon at his command, which he began using in order to destroy and wiping out the supernatural races of all villages and clans, which he was trying to purify and cleanse the entire sacred world and the entire sacred magic universes of the supernaturals, aliens, and superhumans as well, who are living all in harmony, believing that they were the threat to sacred peace, and they were believing that they were the actual threat to sacred peace and to sacred balance itself as well. Regardless of that, the dragon that the Dark Fallen Fornation Hunter wielded and controlled was the most powerful and one of the most powerful and deadliest of all others. Due to this, it performed greatly with its forbidden techniques and powers in utilizing its greater powers and abilities as well in the process by decimating all the supernaturals in the process as well. After the great age of darkness has quietly successfully passed, the dragon races were warned that the Dark Fornation Hunter, known as the Fallen, would definitely come back for more of the ancient dragons, which the other followers agreed that they will exactly remain loyal to the Dark Fornation Hunter, known as the Fallen, to assisting him with these ancient goals, which will be very, very crucial for them to bear in mind that he might actually help them to furthering the ancient goals as well in the actual event of the war. Over the following centuries, since the great last preemptive attack of the great Dark Fallen Fornation Hunter was quietly banished within the unknown pocket dimension, the ancient dragons were quietly forced in order to participate in an ancient, powerful, magical war that was quietly used and launched by magical creatures who were trying to fight for control and who were trying to fight for supreme control over the entire sacred magical kingdoms and world, which the dragon races quietly embedded themselves into the war in order to trying to restore unity and proper unification to all worlds and to all kingdoms as well. Due to this, one powerful, greater individual Fornation Hunter, known as a Hellfire Fornation Hunter, aided in the war himself in order to stopping the conflict himself. The dragons were able to burn a greater powerful descendant of the Fornation Hunter, using one of their fiery powers against him. By doing so, it granted universe, no. Excuse me, guys. Sorry, guys, about that. Despite that, it was able to grant the most powerful, devastating Fornation Hunter descendant of the Hellfire the power of controlling and using Hellfire himself, which was able to gain in the process as well, due to him being burned by an actual dragon as well. Due to this, the Hellfire descendant rose to the occasion with his blood actually being boiled with fiery power of the fiery dragon, which his physical appearance began healing very much quietly healing quickly, and he received regenerative powers processed in order to heal very substantially, very quickly, and very, very quietly powerful as well. Due to this as well, and thanks to the dragon fire that quietly burned him, he was able to gain Hellfire powers in the process, which in the far future, the descendants of the Fornation Hunter of the Hellfire family would gain fiery powers and fiery abilities as well in the process of him being burned by the dragon itself as well during the ancient wars of sacred magic battles as well. Over the following centuries, the dragon races have aided and abetted in many, many conflicts in wars and in many, many unknown sacred conflicts and wars, such as the Power War, the Cultured War, the Ancient War, and the Dark War, the Dead War, and the intergalactic wars of aliens and superhumans fighting up against each other, and sinister threats such as the Winter War and the Night War and the Deadly War and all other ancient wars, which the dragons were forced to participate to helping the origin races maintaining peace and balance. Over the following centuries, the dragon races have become the fundamental creatures and beings of the entire sacred universe within sacred history itself as well, using their formidable powers and their abilities as well in the process in order to help in the great heroes of the sacred world by exterminating and removing the sinister threats that would impose the sacred balance and the sacred peace that the ancestors have quietly kept for many centuries, which will be highly, highly be ruined and highly be destroyed in a process if the most powerful, devastating force of evil would quietly rose to the occasion and ascend into power as well. Within the following centuries after the extinction and the extermination of the origin races, the dragon race quietly realized that with the original Lord of Magic quietly in power and also quietly in control of the Shadow Empire, that the extinction is quietly inevitable in them, that they thought to themselves it's best that they continue aiding and abetting in wars, while the other factions of the dragon races thought that it's best for them to step aside from the wars and from the battle, not to get the attention, not to attract the attention of the most powerful dark ancient being known as the original Lord of Magic, which in turns out he would annihilate them and he would destroy them in any means necessary. During the following centuries and stages of the sacred worlds and sacred universes wars and conflicts, the dragon races were quietly forced to adapt their tactics, their abilities, their ancient traditions, and their ways when powerful, sinister criminals and super criminals began coming to them with secretive requests in order for them to use the dragons as their own companions for their own useful for their own sinister plans and goals. The followers and the keepers of the dragons quietly agree that they'll exactly receive a dragon at their command, and that the dragon will remain as the companion, as they are also the leaders of the dragon themselves as well. Which the leaders and the companions of the dragons, who are quietly known as the Mount, agrees that they'll actually lead their dragons and quietly able to teaching them the ways to fight and the ways for them to highly evolve. Over the following centuries, the dragon races have quietly began adapting and highly evolving, which they were quietly involved in many ancient conflicts against the vampire races, the fairy race, and the witch race, and the druid 7-nation hunter, and the 18-nation hunter, and the 12 great nation hunters as well, to which the 4-nation hunters were forced to secretly stopping the civil ancient conflicts from brewing out and from spiraling out of control, which created nothing but an ancient blood feud of a war, and that literally created a huge fraction among all races and creatures of the entire sacred universe, of the entire sacred world itself as well. Due to this, the great elders of the dragons exactly told the entire children of their kind that they must highly evolve and that they must highly evolve and adapt to a very certain period of time where their powers could actually grant them physical form and physical nature for them to highly grant themselves with physical strength and physical power as well. During out the near end of the great centuries, the dragon races and the mighty dragons remained within the ancient temples, hiding there, while the others began highly evolving and highly adapting to the new physical powers and the abilities as well, granting themselves physical stamina and the power to transform into physical form, while the others remained into dragon form for many centuries to come, during which many sinister, powerful villains would come to the aid of the dragon races, who would exactly acquire a dragon of their own, which was quietly crucial for them to using these creatures as a way to solving conflicts and wars and many powerful, sinister wars in the actual process. Regardless of this, the mighty dragon keepers and followers exactly told the sinister ancient criminals that these creatures and beings are very powerful, and they are also 12 levelly intelligent creatures, and that they must be quietly be treated with utmost respect, because if not, they will exactly destroy you and they will purposely actually end you before you can exactly control them or eitherly use them against your own will, which the other sinister ancient villains began agreeing to that as well, and to the end by reassuring the keepers and the followers that they know exactly how to treat the ancient creatures and animals of their kind with respect and with utter greater respect, since they know now that creatures like these must be treated with the utmost respect by any means necessary. To watch the keepers precisely agree with the ancient forces of evil, to watch the two forces exactly shared a common ground and a common interest as well. So did the other dragon races of the species as well. To the middle end of the great years, the dragon races quietly remained within their home worlds and borders. Some of them quietly remained within the ancient dark temples, and some remained within their ancient hideouts and all the other ancient hideouts, Over time, the dragon races began highly evolving and highly literally gaining new powers and abilities throughout the following centuries, throughout the ancient times as well, making their species and their bloodline very worthy for what to come as well, to which they all received an ancient prophecy of the new child of destiny who would change the outcome of the war and of the battle itself, during to which would exactly alter every war and every conflict to its own personal needs. But to this end, the dragons will maintain their own disguise and their own greater ancient society far away from sacred society in order to make sure that the ancient laws of the dragon ways were actually made to be maintained and to be kept far from the actual secrecy of the sacred wars and conflicts of the other magical wars itself as well, to which they all feared the very existence of the original Lord of Magic and of the legendary King of Darkness and of the ancient dark secret forces of evil that were quietly more powerful and more dangerous to their power and to their ability as well, to which at that rate they were forced into hiding, and some of the other societies were forced into remaining into the shadows of the entire sacred world and of the rest of sacred society as well. Just give me actually a minute, guys. I'll get back to you just now. You know that's how. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Let's actually continue this time. So, yeah, despite that, the dragon races were quietly forced into exactly to remain into hiding in order for them to remain within the actual shadows of the entire sacred universe and of the rest of sacred existence, due to that they quietly actually were able not to be deemed worthy within the ancient secret society in order for them to actually remain low, and in order for them to actually remain low, in order for them to actually remain low, and due to them actually fearing the very existence of the ancient, powerful, original Lord of Magic as well in the actual process as well. Despite that, they were quietly forced into the hiding of the shadows of the sacred universe, realizing that the original Lord of Magic would actually try to annihilate them and would actually try to destroy them in the actual process, to which would create a very powerful, dangerous, extinctional level to the rest of the kind and to the rest of the species itself as well, to which the entire dragon elders began to purposely agree that the tactic would be quietly wise in order for them to actually remain low, in order for them to actually remain low within the shadows, while the conflict began to continue without their presence. And over the following years of the later stages of the sacred wars, conflicts and battle of the sacred world later conflicts and battles and wars continue to actually rain down upon the entire sacred universe, to which the entire dragon races were forced to particularly to remain within the shadows of the entire sacred universe, not to be exposed and not to be used as weapons, to which the other members of their kind exactly wanted to do so, while the other members of their species were exactly forced in order to changing tactics and different ways for them to adapt and highly evolve, to which they were able to continue to do so as well. On the actual 25 of April, the entire dragon race was able to precisely to reconvene at the ancient dragon temples, to where all the other elders and leaders began talking about what is exactly has been going on for the past few years and for the past few ancient centuries, to which all the other elders and members began to agree that none of the death of the original Lord of Magic has been finalized and has actually been able to be stopped right away due to the return of the ancient prophesied child, to which due to the return of the ancient prophesied child and the mighty members of the universal heroes were able to precisely to actually prevent the war, to prevent the actual extermination and the annihilation goal from successfully bear fruit, to which the other elders agreed that they kind must exactly find a very, very suitable way in order for them to advance their ways in a new tactical planning, to which the entire elders agree on that as well. On the actual 27 of May, the entire dragon race was able to precisely to meet up within the ancient dragon cities, which they were quietly within the ancient volcanic islands, to where Dragon Girl exactly told her people that it's time for them to join forces with the Four Nation Hunters of the Intergalactic Coalition in order for them to stopping in order for them to stopping the ancient sinister forces of evil from exactly rising and ascending in power as well. To which the other dragons begin to disagree with Dragon Girl, who's quietly a member of the Universal Heroes, and began exactly telling her that the entire races of the dragon were being misused and being mistreated badly with utter disrespect, with utter totally disrespect for them being what they exactly are. And it's time for the entire rest of the sacred society to suffer the consequences of them being used as missed weapons as they were quietly not meant to be. Dragon Girl quietly agreed with the rest of her people that they quietly understood what it quietly meant to be misused and to be misused and to be misused and also to be disrespected of what exactly they are. But despite that, she still exactly told her people that they must still join forces with the Four Nation Hunters of the Intergalactic Coalition, and that the new threat of the new Lord of Magic, such as Lord Jet, who is now the new Lord of Magic, Lord Clay, who is now the new Lord of Magic, Lord Bradley, who is now the new Lord of Magic, Lord Cole, who is now the new Lord of Magic, and the other ancient, powerful, sinister Lord of Magic, and their followers and their great followers and operatives who are now beginning to taking the mantle and the legacy of the original Lord of Magic, to making sure that it remains highly alive and very quietly, highly substantial alive, and it also can endure and survive throughout the darkest times, to fulfilling its ancient goals and its ancient ways of exterminating and annihilating the supernaturals, aliens, superhumans, the universal heroes, the Four Nation Hunters, Seven Nation Hunters, and all the other powerful sacred hunters of the entire sacred world. To which the other dragon members and all the other community of the dragon races agreed that the entire warfare of the sacred universe, of the entire sacred magic universe, and all the other known worlds is now up to them to decide its fate, not them in the other ways. On the particular 17th of June, Dragon Girl actually met up with the Dragon Council on the ancient chambers, on the ancient actual chambers, where this time these ancient chambers exactly housed ancient, powerful, formidable statues of the old original ancestors of the dragon races, which some of them have highly evolved and began to transform, while the others of them began the power of not transforming. There were ancient markings and ancient texts of how the dragon race became highly formidable and also highly powerful within the ancient chambers, to where Dragon Girl was precisely meeting up with the ancient, powerful Dragon Council as well, or the other known as the Dragon Elders. Dragon Girl was able to try to find a way to persuade the Dragon Elders in order for them to changing the minds of the entire dragon race, and that the ancient threats are quietly resurfacing and returning as well. Due to this, the Dragon Elders still exactly responded to known ways not for them not to intervene in the wars or any type of them, but they are quietly able to tell Dragon Girl, who has become a high-ranking member of the Universal Heroes, so they're very totally grateful for her, for her to remain as a living embodiment of one of the kind's true inception, in her remaining true to herself and standing up for her people who are quietly far different from the other ancient races of the sacred world. To which Dragon Girl exactly answered to the council that they must find a better alternative for the other species and all the other races for them to solely exist. The other Dragon Elder exactly told Dragon Girl that she was the living bridge between two worlds and many other sacred worlds and planets for the dragon races and for the dragon races and for the vampire races and from the Four Nation Hunters and from the other ancient races, for them to literally to coexist and find true meaning in that. And they quietly believe in the work that the Universal Heroes are doing and in the work that she's quietly doing, which has managed to pave a way for the great work of their future descendants and for the great work of their future descendants and for the great work of their future descendants as well, not for them to bear the legacy of hatred or the legacy of darkness within their very souls and within their very heart as well. To which Dragon Girl answered to the council that she's very grateful and very honored for the council to actually see that in many ways that they can never actually see that as well. On the actual 21 of July, on the actual 21, the Dragon Council actually held up an ancient powerful meeting within the ancient crystal catacombs beneath the entire ancient dragon palace, ancient palace kingdom, beneath the entire ancient dragon palace kingdom, to which they all precisely agreed that it's time for the species to decide its fate and to decide its rightful decision once for all. With that, an unknown shadowy figure from the shadows of the Crystal City exactly began to reveal himself, telling the dragon race is that they are all quietly stupid and highly quietly becoming too naive to think that the entire sacred society would actually allow the dragons to become the next ruling species, that it's time for them to press their dominance once and for all. With that being said, many members of his group began revealing themselves within the shadows as they tried to persuade the other elders to join in forces with them or suffer the destructive consequences that are about to be bestowed by the power of them working together as an ancient group, to which the elders began to see that they are now facing new threats and new deadly ancient forces of evil that have been highly operating within the shadows and remaining in hiding and within the shadows of the entire sacred universe for many centuries and for many 10,000 years and for many centuries and for many millennia as well. On the actual 8th of August, the other great dragon elders was able to gratefully meet up with the 4-nation hunter elders on the ancient dragon temple, to which they all precisely agreed that these ancient threats are quietly now begin to take full advantage of what is exactly occurring and what is exactly occurring with the ancient conflicts that have been bestowed. The 4-nation elder began to tell the dragon elders that these ancient, powerful, sinister, ancient, shadowy, criminal, elite organizations are the ones behind the wars and conflicts that have been facilitated by our own very hands, and they are the ones that are trying to seek control over humanity. And if they do actually succeed, the entire world and the rest of mankind will definitely be dead and be wiped out within a matter of minutes or in a matter of time as well, which is very crucial for them to actually band together and fight up against the forces and the ancient, powerful, sinister, shadowy groups of super villains and criminals who are quietly aiding each other on their respective goals, to which the other dragon elders begin to precisely agree on that as well. On the actual 14th of September, the mighty dragon followers and the other dragon keepers within the ancient dragon temple cities of the volcanic cities all began exactly meeting within the ancient dragon statue that houses many fiery hands of the great superior dragon leader who was quietly rumored to be an ancient legendary dragon warlord, with the power that he was able to gain to transform, and with the great power of fire creation to destroying everything in sight with this very power. The dragon followers agree that the dragon elders have quietly gone soft and that it's time for them to take matters into their own hands, and that the ancient dark supervillain known as a Fallen is about to return, and the ancient dark legendary king of darkness will soon return. In order for their goals to bear fruit, they must fight up against the 4-nation hunters and up against the universal heroes and up against any member of their kind and of their species who dare exactly opposes them, who think that they quietly are worthy enough to lead them all to a better place. And they all quietly agreed that it's best that the rightful leader of the followers began to leading them with great authority, since they highly unlikely believe in him as well. To which the great powerful dragon follower began to agree on that as well. On the actual 25th of October, the mighty dragon followers were able to reconvene with the new ancient criminal organization of the dragon group, of the ancient dragon criminal organization of the ancient dragon group within the ancient dark dragon temple that houses many ancient paintings, that houses many paintings and actual ancient markings, that actually houses many ancient paintings and markings of how dragons can transform and how they can actually use the powers and the abilities of nature transformation, and the powers and the abilities to manipulating the elemental powers of the entire sacred world, and all of magical powers and abilities and its properties as well, to which are all able to meet up within the ancient reconvene within the ancient dragon temple, where the ancient shadowy criminal group of the dragon's leader begin telling the mysterious dragon followers that their loyalty is to the dragon race and that it can never be underestimated for that, and to do so they must come up with a better plan in order to execute their final preparations for their goal, to which the followers agreed that they'll remain as their loyal followers and also as greatly as their high operatives as well. The leader of the entire shadowy criminal organization of the dragon organization began telling the mighty powerful dragon followers that The rest of the members of his group will actually be the one, him and the other members of his group and the other operatives of his group will actually be the one to actually do the work, while the rest of the other followers, the rest of the other dragon followers must remain within the shadows and they must remain silent while the goal itself begins to take place due to the finalization of its true preparation that it must not be intervened in order to destroying the great sacred nations once and for all. And the first one of all of them to fall will be the great ancient powerful old glory nation known as the ancient great sacred nation of the great old nation, which embodies all the other great nations and all the other great clans within it. The great dragon followers agreed that they'll be the one to take the first lead. On the actual 7th of November, the ancient shadowy criminal elite dragon organization group began exactly entering the sacred borders of the ancients of one of the great sacred nations known as the All Nations, which the All Nations was quietly founded by the most powerful legendary founders of one of the Orion clan, one of the other great powerful prophesized leaders known as the Destiny Clan, to which together they were able to find common ground in order to combining their clans in order to building a powerful, formidable nation within the ancient powerful forests. No, Universe, no. Sorry about that, guys. Within the ancient powerful forests of the woods, within the ancient powerful forests of the entire woods, within the ancient forests of the woods, to which they were able to actually build the entire village and the entire nation itself as well. Which the two statues of the most powerful founding legendary leaders are quietly within the ancient waterfalls of the entire sacred magic universe, and between the entire known worlds and the known civilization itself as well. The great shadowy criminal elite organization began entering the borders, but they remained within the shadows as the leader exactly began using his staff in order to summon the ancient, powerful undead warriors from the ground and releasing their coffins from the ground itself as well, to which was able to tell the undead warriors that he might need them for something sinister and for something special that might be crucial for their goals and plans as well. To which the undead agreed they'll be happily to oblige and to aiding them as well. The ones he quietly summoned are one of the most deadliest, ruthless of all supernatural criminals of the entire 4Nation Hunter wanted list. It is said that they possess the most devastating, powerful abilities of all sacred history and time as well, and especially within 4Nation Hunters as well, which the leader of the entire Shadowy Dragon organization group that he wanted to use their forbidden powers in order for them to destroy the entire 4Nation Hunter homeland and the entire All Nation village and the entire All Nation village in the process as well. On the particular day of the 5th of December, the great dragon elders began secretly meeting up with the members of the Universal Heroes on the 4Nation Hunter of the Intergalactic Coalition's base of operation, to which they all exactly began to agree that Dragon Girl is after all the real member and part of the family of the Universal Heroes, and that she's completely one of them, and that she's a living embodiment of two worlds and many other planets. The great leader of the great dragon elders was very quietly honored to meet the great hero, the great ancient prophesized hero who brought the end of the dark ancient Lord of Magic's ways, and who brought the end of the dark original Lord of Magic's ways and his destructive goals before they can successfully bear fruit, to which they all began thanking him, and they told the other elders that they'll all exactly join forces in helping the Universal Heroes with their goals and with their plans as well in the actual process, to which the Universal Heroes and Dragon Girl seemed very happy and seemed successfully impressed with the response that they were actually been willing to get and to receive for many centuries, for many years, that they've been willing to hear that response as well. On the particular 9th of January, the great scouts of the Four Nation Hunters were able to intercept the undead group of the one of the most deadliest supernatural Four Nation Hunter criminals who were about to begin a sinister global attack on the entire all nation village at once, to which they all decided it's best to stopping these forces before they can combine their powers and releasing the forbidden technique that was quietly not meant to be used many years ago, due to them being known as the dead ancient, due to them being known as a legendary group of powerful, formidable soldiers and great progeny, and the great opposite of the ancient legendary group of the Four Nation Hunter group known as the Alliance itself, which quietly represents it, which quietly actually representing it. It quietly actually represents its ideals and its idealism, but not the sole holy goal it quietly embodies. That this ancient legendary group, of the one of the most deadliest, ancient, powerful, supernatural criminals of the Four Nation Hunters and unknown supernatural beings as well, decided to join forces as well many years ago, many during out the ancient years, to which they were able to helping to quell sacred civil wars within the great sacred nations themselves as well. The great Four Nation Hunter scouts were able to intercept the undead group of the one of the most deadliest sacred criminals, and they were able to intercept them, and they began fighting and battling against them as well. To which the battle until it landed on the 10th of January, where the forces of evil all began combining and synchronizing their powers to release the forbidden symbol, where Dragon Girl and Werewolf Girl and the rest of the other members and the rest of the other allies of the Universal Heroes, such as the Universal Founders and such as the Universal Water Heroes, were forced to stopping this vile threat before it can complete and activating a destructive forbidden technique that could destroy everything within its grasp, to which the plan was quietly foiled due to the interference, and to which the undead criminals were quietly sent into the afterlife due to Universal Magical's forbidden magical powers and abilities, to which she was able to send the undead soldiers and warriors straightly into the afterlife and releasing their souls into the mortal plane, and for them to go straightly back into the afterlife. Universal Magical stated to the great heroes and to the rest of the other elders of the entire village that these creatures and these sinister criminals were summoned by a powerful being that can actually conjure them to be here, and that their sole goal was to destroy the entire all nation village and the rest of the Four Nation Hunters. Meaning, in other words, they are willing to eradicate it completely to the ground in order to completely to destroy it. The purpose of the destruction, or what would exactly benefit them, still remain unknown to all of them, as they all agreed that whoever exactly summoned them is still out there and is still miraculously highly active as well. On the actual 15th of February, the ancient shadowy criminal organization of the Group of the Dragons were able to literally reconvene with the dragon followers, with the ancient dragon followers on an ancient dark crystal chamber, which houses many ancient, powerful, ominous statues of powerful, forbidden Four Nation Hunter warriors, some who were quietly dragon hunters, others were quietly witch hunters, others were quietly druid hunters, some were quietly fairy hunters, some were quietly unknown, powerful a powerful dog hybrid sister witch who has become a dragon, who has become part dragon and part witch herself as well, which those statues were quietly particularly around the entire chamber itself as well, while the others of them remain on different sides of the corner of the chamber as well. The leader of the group exactly explained to the dragon followers that their tactic and that their plan was quietly foiled due to the interference of the mighty Universal Heroes allies and of their friends. But due to this, they were able to gain a very greater intelligence that these heroes are highly working together, and they're also quietly secretly coordinating with the other unknown team of superheroes as well. To which the dragon followers began to exactly tell the leader of the group that he must be very careful and he must be very perceptive not to underestimate them and not to actually undermine them. They are too deadly and they are too powerful not to be taken lightly. He quietly reassured his great associate that now that he has know how powerful they are and that their abilities are quietly highly compatible, he will not make that mistake, as he quietly reassured his associates to that. and to which they all purposely agreed on that as well. On the actual 14th of March, the ancient dragon elders of the council began to meet up with the ancient dragon followers on the powerful ancient dragon temple, which is quietly within the entire volcanic island, which the entire volcanic island is quietly on the western side of the entire near to the entire capital, close by to the entire capital of the Red Empire, precisely to be close by to the Red Empire's capital and central cities as well. Due to this, the dragon elders were able to tell the dragon followers that they must sow their allegiance to them, otherwise this is an all-out war. The leader of the dragon followers began telling the dragon council that the old ways and the new ways are about to officially coexist together, that the time for change is quietly come, and either way, it will happen one way or another. But despite that, the dragon follower began to reassure the dragon elders they are always completely at their side as well, no matter what, to which the dragon elders began to believe in that. On the actual particular 10th of April, one dragon council member and one powerful dragon follower all began to particularly to meet up within the ancient shadowy chambers of the crystal chambers, which houses ancient paintings and drawings, and one powerful statue which houses an ancient familiar threat and a familiar foe known as the goddess of snakes, to which the ancient statue of the goddess of snakes was quietly surrounded by many snakes around her as well. In that ancient particular chamber, the one dragon follower and the one dragon elder of the council exactly spoke to each other, telling themselves that their plans are quietly working well, but they must make sure that everything else is going according to plan, that the full conspiracy cannot easily to be exposed, to which the other mighty dragon elder council agreed to that as well. On the particular 14th of May, the great sacred conspirators all began to precisely to reconvene on the ancient dark crystal temple, which actually quietly resided within the entire sacred magic universe's kingdoms and nation as well, to which they all precisely agreed that their goals and that their plans are about to successfully bear fruit, to which Warlord Star also began revealing himself from the shadows of the temple and telling his mighty, long-lasting friends and associates that this is a moment that they've all been waiting for, that cannot be stopped or anything else to none that cannot be stopped, and that cannot be stopped or foiled by any means necessary, and that the universal heroes will know exactly how powerful all of them are, and that they'll be able to combine their resources all together, to which they all precisely agree that their goals are finally about to bear fruit, and they are finally about to successfully to align with a true mission, and that they all share a common interest as well, to which they all precisely agree on that. On the actual 17th of June, the mighty dragon elders were all able to meet up with the members of the United Heroes on the asteroid base, which is quite the central headquarters, which is literally inside the solar system, where they were quite completely proud and impressed that the United Heroes began to trust the mighty dragon elders with the entire secret headquarters. Either way, the leader of the great members of the United Heroes exactly told the great council elders of the council of the dragons that they completely have complete faith and trust worthy of them. But without being exactly being said, the other dragon elder began telling them that sinister forces are secretly converging and are also about planning their sinister plans and goals. They are well aware of ancient, powerful, sinister criminal elite organization such as the Founders, the Order of the Five, Order of the Six, the Court of Nature, and the other sinister, powerful organizations as well. They are willing to exactly help them and assist them to stopping them before their goals can successfully bear fruit. To which the members of the United Heroes agreed, then it's time for them to get back to work right away. On the actual particular day of the of the 25 of the actual 25 of July, the one dragon follower who possesses a forbidden unknown technique of shapeshifting to changing the color of his skin and the eyes of his skin was able to secretly meet up with the Four Nation Hunter, meet up with the was able to secretly meet up with the Four Nation Hunter within the ancient, within the unknown villages, within the unknown random villages that are quietly scattered within the entire sacred great nations, within the entire sacred great nations areas and worlds where supernatural creatures and beings can just live freely, and some are housing dangerous criminals, wanted criminals, and all of that. They were able to meet up within the shadows of the city to where both of them exactly agree to each other that their goals and that their plans are successfully about to bear fruit, to which it's time for them to make sure that their masters and their lords receive the news, to which the Four Nation Hunter operative agree to that as well. On the 13th of August, on the actual 13th of August, the great dark druids and dark witches and the dark faithful began to reconvene with the dark dragon followers on a powerful dark shadowy cave, on a powerful dark shadowy cave, to which the mighty dark dragon followers began actually creating and conjuring up a shadowy astral projection of themselves, to which all the other associates began doing themselves as well. The eyes remain the same within the shadowy astral projection, to which the eyes exactly remain the same, so that the physical appearance of themselves, as each member also casted and projected a shadowy astral projection of themselves. It's a shadowy astral projection, as in a shadowy astral projection of themselves, where their eyes and their bodies are in shadow form, but completely able to see one another, where their eyes remain the same. Due to this meeting where they all assembled, they agree that it's time for their goals to finally take point, and it is time for them to finally to begin to be solidified one way or another, because everything else is quietly in place and that everything must proceed accordingly to plan. And the others began to agree with that they're willing to participate each other and helping each other with their goals, to the resources they can all exactly use and require, which will further their common interests and their common goal as well, to which the leader of the dark druids and the leader of the dark witches and the leader of the dark faithful agree that they are in the great services of the dragon followers. Whatever they quietly may need will be literally left for them to actually utilize. The leader of the dragon followers begin telling the leader of the druids that there is something precisely that they need that is very, very valuable, and it's time for them to show them exactly what it is. On the 17th of September, the mighty dragon followers began meeting up with the dark druids face to face on an ancient shadowy cave, to where the most powerful, formidable dragon follower began summoning an ancient monster statue from the ground, telling him that this statue is far different compared to the other ancient monster statues that the other powerful competitors and the associates are using. This one has the power and the ability of literally containing powers and abilities in all in one, to which its greater physical power and its greater physical power and its greater physical power and its tremendous life force that it possesses will be unique for one host to fully synchronize with the statue's power and body in order for him to become its full fleshling host. The doctor would exactly ask who would be that fleshling host. The other dragon follower began to reveal herself from the shadows of the cave and telling the mighty leader of the druids that she will be the one to become the host and the vessel of the monster statue, to which she will be the one to controlling its powers and its abilities in a process to furthering and facilitating their long-term plans in the real process, to which it's very crucial that it synchronizes with one of them, and she's willing to exactly to become its host and vessel. The dragon follower began to reassure the dark druid now that the entire mess and now that the entire squabble of the mess has been sorted and finalized, they must get right on track with their true mission. He precisely agreed with him on that one. On the actual 20th of October, the dragon elders of the council began to meet up with Dragon Girl on the on their home worlds and planets, which quietly houses ancient statues, beautiful ancient greater statues of those ominous and unknown. These ancient statues are quietly more different than the other dreaded dark statues, which only these ancient ones, these ancient beautiful ones, are quietly one of the good forces, one of the great forces of the greater good, who are quietly defending and protecting sacred reality and sacred society from the worst forces to which each had a powerful hybrid statue: one hybrid dragon druid, one hybrid dragon witch, one hybrid dragon formation hunter, one hybrid dragon faithful, one hybrid dragon one hybrid dragon seven nation hunter, and one hybrid dragon alien hunter as well in the process, to which it houses many of them within the ancient world and planets of the dragon civilization and of the dragon nation. The dragon elders begin telling Dragon Girl that it's time for them to actually work together to finding a common ground, and they're willing to do whatever it takes to make sure sacred peace and unification is about to be brought to full pieces, and that both worlds and many other civilizations of the aliens, supernatural, and superhumans were able to coexist together into fighting up against a common enemy and ending the sinister, wild threats that threaten the sacred peace and the sacred balance that they're willing to protect. And Dragon Girl began to agree with the elders that it's time for them to do that as well. Despite this, guys, the dragon races are very powerful, formidable races of the entire sacred world and of the entire sacred society. Them being used as powerful, destructive weapons proves that they are definitely needed for what's to actually come. Due to this, the entire dragon society was able to gather many thousands of elite greater dragon dark mythical and ancient folklore followers of the dragon followers to protect them, and also to guide them, and also to actually creating ancient sanctuaries, temples for them to hide, and for them to hide, and in order for them to actually to hide and flourish in full secrecy. Due to this as well, the dragon race has gained a power of great intelligence, perception, mind thinking, and the power of mind control, adapting and evolving. They have the greater powers of flight, transformation, shape-shifting techniques, and the abilities of summoning, resurrection, and the abilities of contacting with the other members of telepathic communication, telekinesis, levitation, and the power of mind control, hypnosis, literally putting someone else under hypnosis in order to erase their memory. Out of all the other ancient dragons, they are one of the scariest and one of the most powerful and deadliest of all. They were used by the ancient forces of evil, such as the legendary King of Darkness, the Omega founders, the original Lord of Magic, the dark magic users of the dark druids and of the dark witches, and of the ancient and most powerful unknown supervillains, the great Mount Men, and the other sinister criminals and supervillains of the entire sacred society of the sacred world and of the sacred universe as well. They are very ancient, powerful races. They are ancient statues of the dragon founders and progenitors across the entire sacred world, sacred societies, especially within the entire sacred magic universe, and within the entire sacred warlock, within the entire warlock society, and within druid society as well, that describes that they kind and species have after all merged to create a powerful hybrid that embodies two worlds and many planets as well. And there are others of the hybrid, there are many others of the hybrid races of the dragons that are quietly rumored to be ancient and rumored to be powerful, between good and evil, to which the hybrid races of the dragons are very powerful and also very deadly. Dragon Girl is a superhero and a high-ranking member of the Universal Hero. She's an exception of her people, and she's the brightest and one of the most highly cautious, one of the most kindness of all the other members of her society. Due to this, she was able to remain a greater inspiration to the rest of the dragon races and to the entire dragon society and of our people, trying to exactly teach them that they can still exactly change the destructive ways. But regardless of that, the dragon followers are very skilled in great intelligence, and also very skilled in deception as well, forming sinister alliances with one of the most ancient criminal organizations in order to aiding themselves with their sole objectivity of their goal as well, and by aligning themselves with the Shadow Empire warlords, commanders, sinister dark druids, powerful hybrids, ancient followers, ancient mystical beings and creatures and dark descendants of the unknown, most powerful progenitors of all sacred reality, in order to precisely aiding them with their goals and with their mission as well. The dragon race society is very ancient, so ancient that they have ancient temples within the entire western side, within the entire western side of the Red Empire, within the entire western side, within the actual entire western side of the, within the entire western hemisphere of the Red Empire nation, close to the Red Empire capital, which houses many islands, many volcanic islands, about their origin, about their history, about their past of accessing forbidden techniques, powers, and abilities as well. They are so ancient and that there are many ancient paintings and carvings about them, as there are many ancient fossils, dragon dead fossils and bodies literally used as husk, literally used as husk in order to containing the mythical power of dark magic and of light magic that the dark witches and the dark powerful supreme sorcerers use in order to containing dark magic within its own capsule, as a source and a reminder that the dragons are after all the superior races of all. Due to their fire and due to their power of transformation and of shapeshifting, they are very intelligent, very unlikely to be ruthless. Some of the other creatures, some of the other dragon members within Dragon Society despise the Phoenician Hunters, hate the Universal Heroes, don't even like the members of the Phoenician Hunters or the rest of humanity. They are willing to make sure that they're willing to make sure that their enemies are willing to make sure that their enemies and their common goals bear fruit no matter what. And they are very highly strategical and very highly careful with their plans, able to able to manipulating the elemental forces of fire, water, earth, wood, stone, sand, dust, dark magic, light magic, the power of projection, the power of literally of projecting, and astral projection, which is a shadowy astral projection. They are very good in transformation and are highly adaptable and a very powerful species, a very quietly highly powerful species in order for them to evolve. Due to this, they were able to gain powerful ancient histories about them that literally spread it throughout the great sacred, that literally spread it throughout the sacred world, great nations that are quietly able to house many statues of their ancestors and many statues of their past few descendants as well, who have become nothing but hybrids and bridges to many known magical worlds of creatures and beings, warlocks, witches, druids, faithful, 4-nation hunter, 7-nation hunters, and all types of creatures and beings of the entire sacred world as well. These statues are a reminder to the dragon race and are also a reminder to the druids and to the witches and to the 4-nation hunters that they can actually coexist. But there are some ancient ominous evil statues of one of the most worst powerful descendants of their kind that use their forbidden powers and techniques in order to create nothing but destruction. And the entire dragon society is very good with the power of mega creation, due to this technique being passed down to a Pacific descendant, that the bloodline itself is quietly deemed worthy due to its greater sacred progenitor, known as the sacred dragon founder, and also known as the goddess of the dragons as well. Due to this, she was also known by another alias as the mother of all dragons as well. That the bloodline of the dragon race is so powerful, and that the fire that they actually wield and possess is so magical and so powerful that it was able to burn a descendant of the Hellfire family of the 4-nation hunters, of the great 4-nation hunters of the Hellfire, of the 4-nation hunter, the 4-nation hunter family, known as the Hellfire 4-nation hunters, who was able to gain the ability of controlling and manipulating Hellfire itself, and fire itself as well, due to being burned by the dragons during the later century stages of the magical wars and battle, that the mighty dragons were able to burn him. He was able to grant himself a greater forbidden ability and a power that's remaining dormant as well. They are very ancient and they are very powerful. They were able to gain more powerful mystical followers, greater sinister criminals, agents, and many greater sinister allies as well. Very good in maintaining the individual bases as well as a central headquarters, which is an ancient entire volcanic island of a city that houses many statues, temples, and all of them, some of them which are quietly scattered within the western, eastern, south, north, many known magical worlds, ice planets, known powerful sunny worlds and ancient magical kingdoms, and many within the sacred great nations, lands, and home worlds as well, which the ancient temples and all the others are scattered as well. But they are ancient paintings and ancient statues of one of the most powerful predating hybrids of the entire dragon ancestors that are very noble, and some who are very ruthless, some who are very dark, and some who are known to be the deadliest abominations of all others as well. The dragon race is an ancient and formidable race, and Dragon Girl is an exception to her kind and to her people as well as Dragon Woman, who is also a high-ranking member of the United Heroes as well. They are the bridge and the living embodiment of many, 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 many worlds throughout the entire sacred universe, and they're willing to change the destructive ways of the entire dragon ways, the entire dragon society's ways by any means necessary. And the dragon followers are very noble, loyal to the core, to the dragons themselves that can transform and shapeshift as well. And the dragons come in many different forms. There are some who come with three. There are some who come with there are other dragons, there are other ancient dragons that appear with three-headed, some who are highly big, some who are highly quite fat, some who are highly quite strong, claws that come out, some who are highly powerful, dark, devastating wings, devastating eyes. They can actually shapeshift into physical form due to their powers and due to their true respective appearance as well, casting a powerful astral projection, a shadowy astral projection as well. They are very intelligent race, 12 level intellect, highly clever, highly observant, very powerful, formidable race. Ancient powerful threats and powerful beings of the sacred universe and of the sacred world have used these dragons in order to facilitate their wars and their conflicts, in order for them to benefit sole supreme control of the entire sacred world and the rest of sacred society in the process. And also due to this, the original Lord of Magic, who quietly disappeared within the middle centuries when the dragon races were quietly used in wars, he knew very well that the entire dragon race was quietly afraid of him and afraid of his power, of his infinite power. But due to this, he was able to keep it to the shadows in order to make sure that his followers were able to highly create a powerful encrypted conspiracy within the shadows of the entire sacred great nation, so that they can all exactly speak to one another without them being detected and without them being unknown. Very powerful and very intelligent. The dragon races are very dangerous and are very, very, very highly ancient and very highly adaptable, very good with the power of evolving, transformation, shapeshifting, convergence, teleportation, opening portals. Each member within the Dragon Society is very special and very unique in their own way. And Dragon Girl and the rest of her students and progenies are the grand exception of the species. And so is the Dragon Council, who are very ancient and very, very wise and very, very powerful as well, who speak ancient powerful dragon languages of their own, to which their descendants and the generation before them can actually able to do so as well. Very good and very wise, and also the most powerful, prominent allies of the universal heroes and of the Dragon Girl's goal and of her mission as well, and are also quite be true to them to the core as well. Well, that's it for today's episode, guys. I'll actually see you tomorrow on Friday. I'll upload this episode, and I'll upload these episodes on both of my apps, and I'll actually get it done right away. Today's episode was the dragons of the sacred world, and you will receive it today. Very grateful for your guys' support. Stay safe and stay happy and stay blessed. See you tomorrow on Friday. Take care of yourself. Have a great, beautiful day, and stay happy and smile like this, and stay safe and stay good to yourself and stay true to yourself. May God bless you all. Totally grateful for your guys' support. Love you and take care. Bye.